Amber, look at this weather.
I know.
Can you believe it? For us being New Yorkers, this is
pretty good. This is pretty good.
What did you do? How did you make this happen? I'm blaming you right now for this great weather.
I called God and he owed me a favor, so I just was like, I need some good weather today for this shoot.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many people in your family are so talented. So if you weren't talented, that would have been a problem because your dad
would have been a bummer.
Right,
yes.
It would have been weird. Your dad was an actor, your mom a singer.
Yes.
Am I missing someone else?
No, my sister's also an artist. Just come from a very bohemian household, for sure.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you know you wanted to act? When did you get that bug?
You know, people ask me that, but when you start acting so young, I'm 35 now, I started when I was 11 years old. I don't think I ever really knew or particularly chose. It just sort of happened. I was discovered doing a school play when I was 11 years old, and it just sort of naturally happened from there. But I have loved it for a long time, and I've definitely loved the way my sort of career and artistic life has spread into new avenues in the last several years.
If you could come up with your perfect, ideal directing debut, what would that look like?
Well, I did. I was lucky enough to adapt my first feature about 2 years ago, which is now on Netflix. It's called Paint It Black. It was an adaptation of a Janet Fitch novel, who's an author I love so much. And that movie took maybe 7 to 10 years to put together. It was a long-term, real passion project for me, and it is one of the things I'm most proud of in my creative life.
I wanted to talk about your debut novel. Congratulations,
Thank
Any
you.
Man. And I was reading a little bit about it, and I love the direction, the creativity behind this because it's not your typical novel.
Any Man is follows a group of 6 survivors of sexual assault who are men, and they were sexually assaulted by a female serial assaulter. So in this world that I've created, it's sort of a dystopian look at how we gender the conversation around sexual assault and what it would look like if the roles were reversed and people were put in the position that a lot of women and some men are often put in on a daily basis.
One of the beautiful takeaways that we can take from your novel is that have empathy.
Yeah.
And try to look at life from the victim's point of view. And I think it's so easy just to be like, well, what did she do? Where was she? Was it her fault? And it's like, how about it wasn't?
There is not 2 sides to every story. There's the man's side, and then there's maybe, if you're lucky, if you can prove it through a series of many hoops you have to jump through, and maybe there's other women that it also happened to, then you're allowed and afforded a side. So to me, this book is really definitely hoping to change the conversation and broaden it and open it up a little bit.
I like it, and you're gonna get, different perspective. I like this, and I was like,
men read this. A couple of my male friends read this book when I asked for their take on it in its infancy, and they were like, I don't feel like a lot of this is realistic. I'm not sure that people talk like this. I'm not sure, and I was like, some of this is taken verbatim from segments with prosecutors that you can find on YouTube where they're talking about the Jane Doe Stanford rape trial case. This is literally how we are talked about, how our bodies, how our lived experiences are talked about. Some of this stuff you can't make up.
Right.
It's so insane. So it was really interesting for them to see the other side, but not just to see it, to feel it.
I want to talk to you about poetry. Do you see yourself creating any more poems?
Yeah, for sure. I have. I'm a resident poet for Amy Poehler's Smart Girls.
Right.
And I also I've written 3 collections of poetry, and am working on another one that'll probably come out not next year, but maybe the year after. I don't know.
So do you have to get in a Zen mode? How does this work? Because that's the perception I have.
Yeah.
When I think of a poet, I think of a nice latte and it's beautiful outside, and then you're just trying to extract your emotions.
Yeah.
Or what's the process for you?
For me, it's very much about, I have a little Post-it that sits above my writing desk that just says, wait it out. And that's me forcing myself to wait it out, to wait for it to come. Sometimes that's sitting down, lighting a candle, thinking about an idea, letting myself marinate on that idea, but not going you know what, I'm gonna start answering emails, or I'm gonna start watching music videos, or letting myself stray away from it. It's forcing myself to sit and really sit in the thought process of it. And then slowly it comes. And then I let myself write a first draft, even though that draft is garbage. It's total garbage, but you can't stop. You can't stop in the middle and be like, garbage line, that's also garbage. Great job, idiot. And you're just still in the first sentence. Like, let yourself write it through, then go back over with a second pass, and then really put the potency of what you're trying to say into that second pass. That's what's always worked for me, and I know everybody has, like, some writers are like, you have to write every single day. It is a discipline. Other writers are like, I'll think about it for 4 years, and then I'll just write this Pulitzer Prize winning, You're like, okay.
That's what I want. That's the career I want. Just
That's my way of writing, minus the Pulitzer. You know what, give it time. Give it time.
I love it. Amber, it was so good chatting with you.
Good to talk to you,
Thank you
too.
for brightening up the day and just...
Thank you for this gorgeous view and this tea.
Isn't it great?
I love it.
And congratulations
Thank
on
you.
Any Man, and thank you so much for sharing this with the world.
My pleasure, thanks.